Hi guys, the Metal Maniac back again, and today I'm gonna do not today. This time I'm gonna do a review on Iron Maiden's first album, Iron Maiden. Uh, like I said in an earlier video, I am a huge fan of the Paul Di'Anno era of Iron Maiden. I wouldn't say it's my favorite era; it's probably even my second favorite era. My favorite era of Iron Maiden would definitely be the early Bruce Dickinson albums. But yeah, this is just an awesome album. Um, it was released in 1980, and it had two singles. I believe the singles were uh, "Remember Tomorrow" and what was the other one? One was "Remember Tomorrow." The other one was "Running Free." "Running Free" was the first one, and then "Remember Tomorrow" was the second one. And then later on, years later, a single of Phantom of the Opera was released in I think the mid or late '80s. I think '86 they released that one. But yeah, there were technically three singles, but two at the time this was released. The band members consist of Steve Harris on bass, Dave Murray, and what's his name again? Come on. Oh yeah, Dave Murray and Dennis Stratton on guitars, Paul Di'Anno on vocals, and Clive Burr on drums. Um, let's see. Oh yeah, the artwork is done by, of course, Derek Riggs, who did all of the artwork up until what? Fear of the Dark. He didn't do Fear of the Dark, but he did come back for doing a partially done artwork for Brave New World. He painted the Eddie um, on that cover. Someone else did the CGI stuff, but he painted the Eddie. Um, but yeah, Derek Riggs, one of his most underrated versions of Eddie. This original version of Eddie that was also on the two singles that came out at the time is a lot more corpse-like, more realistic corpse-like, and a lot less stylized like he would be on Killers and later stuff. And he's just a lot more grotesque looking. I believe Derek Riggs based this version of Eddie off of a severed head that was on a tank that he saw in a picture of a history book. Um, cool, right? But yeah, that was the awesome album cover, awesome version of Eddie. Now I'm gonna get into the track listing. Track number 1, Prowler. What a way to open an album. This is a very straightforward song. It's fun. Goes in that starts off with the that sort of high pitched sort of not really riff. I don't know what you call it, but it's very high pitched. Um, but yeah, it's a great song. It has some of my favorite Paul Di'Anno vocals. Walking through the city, looking oh so pretty. But yeah, it's basically about a prowler, a dude who hides in bushes and basically stalks women. But yeah, great song. Very interesting subject matter. Track number 2, Remember Tomorrow. This is one of only two songs I don't actually like on this album. It's very, very, very slow compared to everything else on the album. And while I don't hate it anymore, it has kind of grown on me a little bit. It's not something I would put on very often. Like maybe once in every great while, I'll put it on. But for most of the time, I just skip it. It's not bad. It's just meh. Um, was it Running Free is number 3 on the album, and what a song! This was the first single. The single artwork is very interesting. Like, it's the very first time you see Eddie, and he's in the shadows. You don't really get to see his face all that much. You just see a guy, I believe it's just a drawing of Bruce Dickinson. Not Bruce Dickinson. Oh, he wasn't on. I'm stupid. He wasn't even in the band yet. Just a drawing of some guy that slightly looks like Bruce Dickinson for some reason. But anyway, it's just a guy basically in an alleyway, sort of running away from Eddie, and Eddie's just under, like, in the shadows, but he's sort of under a street lamp, but not really. Like, there's like shadows, but he's like, you could only see his eyes, and then the guy's running away, and you could just, he's running towards, unknowingly towards Eddie's hand. That's somehow at the other end of the alleyway. I guess Eddie can teleport parts of his body for some reason. But yeah, that's the artwork for Running Free. The song itself is really good. I love the chugging with the dun 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 on it. And then the chorus, it's cheesy but fun. I'm running free, yeah, I'm running free. Um, I love how it's just basically a shortened sort of version of an can't say that word for some reason. Autobiography. There we go. An autobiography of Paul Di'Anno's life and how he just got in trouble all the time because of drinking, smoking, and stuff like that. But yeah, great song. Great look into Paul Di'Anno's younger years. The next song, the fourth song, Phantom of the Opera, is probably my second favorite song off the entire album. It's very melodic, very catchy, has some interesting sort of riffs that kind of sound like a keyboard, even though it's not a keyboard, it's a guitar riff. I guess it's supposed to resemble the sound of a keyboard since it's Phantom of the Opera. But yeah, it's very awesome. It has this really cool, sort of slowed down, very melodic section in the middle of the song. As one of the best Paul Di'Anno vocal performances of the 3 albums. Yes, 3, not 2. Everyone thinks that there are only 2 Paul Di'Anno albums. There are actually 3. First one, this one, second one, Killers, and third one is a live album. It's Maiden Japan, which is a very overlooked live album, which I have ordered from eBay a while ago, which I will review when it gets here. But yeah, anyway, definitely one of the best Paul Di'Anno vocal performances is on Phantom of the Opera. Track number 4 is an instrumental, the very first Iron Maiden instrumental, Transylvania. It's so catchy. Probably catchier than any of the actual songs on the album. It's just a fun thing to listen to. Like, I could put this on, put Transylvania on in the background if I'm like, say, like cleaning my room or like reorganizing stuff or just doing anything. I could have this on in the background and just sort of like listen to it while doing something else and not get bored. But yeah, it's really cool. Let's see. 1, 2. Wait. Yeah, that was track number 5. Number 6. Track number 6, Strange World. The only other song I don't like off this album, Strange World. Okay, so Remember Tomorrow grew on me a bit, but Strange World I still absolutely hate. It's not a bad song. It's just really boring. It doesn't really fit the album. It doesn't really fit heavy metal in general. Just sort of, why is it on here? I don't know. Just to take up space, just to add a song onto 8 tracks, I guess. But yeah, then it goes into Charlotte the Harlot, the first in the Charlotte the Harlot trilogy of songs. It's really good. Again, like with Phantom of the Opera, it goes into more like a slowed down, not really melodic this time, but just a slowed down middle section that is Paul Di'Anno doing sort of, I don't know, slightly cleaner vocals. It's awesome. Uh, Final track on the album is the title track and the name of the band, Iron Maiden. By far my favorite track off the entire album, and my favorite Paul Di'Anno era Iron Maiden song of all time. It's just so awesome. Like, okay, here's the thing. Nowadays, okay, so for a while even after Paul Di'Anno left the band, for a long time they still played a few Iron Maiden songs from the Paul Di'Anno era, like they did live, like Wrathchild, Killers, I guess Phantom of the Opera, Running Free. I think they even played what was it? I think it was Purgatory. Oh no, it wasn't Purgatory. It was, I think it might have been Innocent Exile. But yeah, but for a while, yeah, when Paul Di'Anno left, they still played a lot of the Paul Di'Anno era stuff. But slowly over time, they dropped almost all the Paul Di'Anno era songs from the set list of their live shows until it was just Iron Maiden and Wrathchild. But then they even dropped Wrathchild in recent years, and it's just Iron Maiden, which is a shame because I love majority of the Paul Di'Anno era Iron Maiden songs. Even with Bruce singing, they're pretty good. Not as good as Paul Di'Anno singing them, but still. So, I mean, that's just. And then Iron Maiden is the only song they kept from that era, which just proves how awesome of a song it is. Not even Iron Maiden want to drop the song from their set list. But yeah, it's just the opening riff. Okay, so the first time I ever heard this song was the first time I ever heard no, yeah, it was the first time I ever heard this album. I got to the song, and from the first time I heard the opening with the da na 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 na, it sounded like to me the guitar was broken, like the strings were not on right. Because I don't know, just the way it sounds very not usual. Like it doesn't sound like it's in tune, but it's good. I love it. It's just I love that opening riff. Da, na, 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 na. Um, and it just kicks in, and just Paul Di'Anno's vocals are awesome. This is probably the most, or one of the most punkiest songs from the Paul Di'Anno era. Like, this is almost a straight up, like, not almost straight up, but it's one of the closest songs that's closer to punk than heavy metal. It's really good. Yeah. Uh, oh, I almost forgot to mention a song that should be on this album but isn't because for some dumb reason Iron Maiden decided to drop it off after re-releasing this this is the 25th, not 25th, the 2015 remaster, and before this, there were I think, two different versions that had the song Sanctuary, which is a absolute classic Iron Maiden song that apparently wasn't on the UK version of the original. It was on the US version, I'm pretty sure, but it wasn't on the UK version. But it's a great song, very catchy. I think it was one of the only Paul Di'Anno era songs that was played on the radio at the time, and I don't understand why they feel the need. Like this is a problem with the first, I think, four Iron Maiden albums. The fact that uh, there's a song from each of them that wasn't originally on the UK version, but was on the American version. That was taken, that was put back on, I guess, the versions in like '95 and '98, and then all of a sudden with the reissues from the 2000s, they decided, oh, since these songs weren't originally on the UK versions, let's just take them off the American versions as well, which is stupid because I mean, I'll get into what the other songs are when I review the other albums that had one more song on them. But yeah, um, Sanctuary was great. It was a single. Oh yeah, that's right. It was a single. I'm dumb. There were four singles. I mean, again, Phantom of the Opera was later on, but yeah, there were three singles released. Again, Remember Tomorrow, um, Running Free, and of course, the Sanctuary. Can't speak today. Again, I don't know why. tend to talk fast when I'm excited, and that makes me sort of not get my words out right. But yeah, Sanctuary is awesome. Should have been on this version. Well, it should have been on every single version of this album. Yeah. Overall, great album. I'm gonna give this, I would say a 9 out of 10. It's great. Not perfect. It's near perfect, though. It's very close to perfect. Let me just real quickly show you the inside of this band. Poldiano in its prime. Got all of them. But yeah, that was my review of Iron Maiden. Iron Maiden. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.